Before we get started with the show, here's a quick word from our sponsor, Global Training Center. As trade compliance professionals, you want to make sure that your procedures and documentation are completed as correctly as possible to avoid any delays and possible fines. We provide a range of trade compliance courses that will fit your needs. From in-person or web training to recorded on-demand courses, we can train one or even thousands on your team through your learning platform or on our portal. We can even customize a private session for your team. Go to globaltrainingcenter.com to find out more.
Hey, folks, we're back from having a great trip to Oklahoma City. We were at the GTEC Conference, the National Customs Brokers and Freight Forwarders Association's Education Institute thing. It's a big, long title, whatever, and GTEC, I'm not sure what GTEC itself means, but anyway.
Global Trade Education Conference.
There you go. Okay.
No, not Global Trade. I'm sorry. Yeah, Global Trade. Yeah, Global Trade Education Conference. Yes.
Well, with that, we had a great time there. Kind of back into some of my old stomping grounds there in the great state of Oklahoma, and got to see some good folks in the trade, and then I have to thank Michelle Schultz for sitting in for me. She was a guest host on one of the shows because I took a few days off. Got to see some of my high school friends, and then got to see my brother and his wife in Stillwater, and my high school friends in Cushing, Oklahoma, where I graduated high school from back in the day, and also had Lila got to meet one of my high school buddies. Retired Lieutenant Colonel Larry Wasson. Larry is he and I played football together. His family was great, and it just a good time there. So, saying all that, we have some phenomenal recordings that we did while we were there in Oklahoma City, and I got to tell you, I enjoyed myself. Had a great time, and Lila, what do you think? I thought it was a very good conference, thanks to Cynthia Wittenberg and Kiko Zenica and their staff, the wonderful staff. I think they did a great job of putting that together.
Yes. So yeah, a little bit about that. So yeah, I mean, Kiko and Cynthia and Megan, she was just being her nice hostess there, running around and being as nice as she's always is, and the rest of the staff. I mean, I wish I can list everyone else that helped us out. Yeah, I mean, it was we had quite a few people there that put together a really good show. The folks over at Avalon, and this is a special shout out to them. Only because without them, we would have not had that big shindig at the end of day one. I mean, that was like a small wedding. No, heck no, it was like a big wedding. There was like 250 people there, and they paid for everything and they sponsored it, and that was really generous of them. It was a really good.
Everybody had a good time. There was good food, and then they had brought in now keep in mind, it was hotter than blue blazes there in Oklahoma. I mean, the forecast was saying 101 to 102. Look, folks, it literally was more like 107 to 115. It just depends. Downtown Oklahoma City, you have all the buildings and the concrete and everything. It was just hot, I'm telling you. But they brought in somebody that helped teach some country line dancing. They had a good DJ, and there were folks having a great time there. So, yeah, to your point, the folks at Avalon did a great job in hosting that reception as well.
Yes. So anyway, and a little bit about this episode. So we're doing a roundup. We're just pretty much, you won't hear us breaking in anymore. But what we're going to do is we're going to play a whole bunch of clips, maybe about 30, 35 minutes worth of clips, 40 minutes worth of clips. So here's the thing. We recorded hours of clips. We recorded a lot of stuff. We condensed it down to almost an hour and a half. So we're not going to run a 1.5 hour show. What we're going to do is we're going to put it on video so y'all can see it on our YouTube channel. And speaking of which, we're catching up with that. Mara, our producer, and myself are going to start working with another person we just hired for media, for production. And between all of us, us three, and even Anik, we're going to try to get those all up and updated. I know we're a little behind on that, but hopefully you'll be able to see the YouTube channel. Check the show notes where you'll see the information for that channel. And we're excited to just be updating that for you all. But anyway, what you'll hear today is a bunch of clips. Andy and I walked around and recorded a bunch of people that were attending. So it was either attendees. So the first part of the chunks that you're going to hear are the attendees themselves, and then you'll hear from, I guess, a speaker or two, and then you'll also hear from like Kiko, and then you'll also hear, lastly, at the very end, you'll hear from some of our co-sponsors or exhibitors that were there along with Global Training Center. So you'll hear from them as well. And then, of course, we'll wrap up with Cynthia. So Cynthia had a message for us, I believe, right, Andy?
You know what? Both Kiko and Cynthia, make a point to look for those. But Cynthia had a fantastic we had a great conversation with her at the end and all that. So I'm just telling you, folks, this has been a good conference. If you're a service provider in the industry, this is one of those you ought to take a look at. The other is looking at some of these folks. Hey, make comments with them and reach out to them. It's fantastic. They had a good time. Folks learned. It was really interesting that there were a lot of folks that were first-time attendees to the GTEC. But in addition to that, met quite a few rookies in the compliance arena and quite a few seasoned folks, as some of us, Lalo, you and I are well seasoned, I think. And excuse me. But saying that, it was a great time. It's worth looking at, worth listening to all this. So hang in there, go through this. You're going to hear some really cool stuff. So with that, Lalo, anything else before we launch this?
No, that's it. I mean, thank you all for listening in. And like Andy said, just listen in. And, if there's any questions or anything you might have, let us know. And we'll be more than glad to point you in the right direction. This is one of 3 conferences that we are trying to get to you. Next week's episodes, we're going to drop 2 of them for you for 2 very good upcoming conferences as well in the month of September. So listen in for that. But thank you all for listening in. And I guess we said that for those that missed it, we did reach our 10,000 download or listener threshold, and we're really happy and excited for that.
Yeah, we did that in less than a year, folks. That's all to your credit. And we have published over 80 shows. It's like, man, y'all have been so fantastic, and it has been great. Thank you, and we're continuing on with that. So, and to the folks with GTEC, thank you for reaching out to us and allowing us to be a part of your conference. It was quite an honor.
Right. Thank you all. Mm-hmm. So here we go. Listen in.
Hey, folks, we're still continuing on as our interviewing folks around from GTEC in the Oklahoma City area for this conference. With that, we have a couple of folks, and gee, this company looks familiar. Why don't you introduce yourself?
Hi, so I'm Chris Garcia. I'm with Global Training Center. I'm the sales and operations manager for GTC.
All right. Great, and you?
Hi, my name is Carla Villaverde. I'm in charge of doing the email marketing for Global Training Center.
Excellent, excellent. So what is the main objective of Global Training Center? Obviously, it's got to be something to do with training, I'm sure, right?
Yeah, definitely, yeah. So our main objective is just to provide great training for the international trade community, always trying to update our trainings and, just provide it in different ways to meet each company's specific goals and needs for training.
And if people are interested in receiving some of the newsletters and things of that nature, Carla, what do they need to do?
All you have to do is go to www.gtc.trade, and in our website you can sign up to our email list, and we'll keep you up with all the scheduling of our trainings.
Excellent, excellent. Has this been a good conference so far that with the people coming by?
Yeah, I think so. We've met a lot of good people, people that kind of didn't know what we provided, and we've had the chance to give them the information on what Global Training Center provides, and then we've also had some people that have taken our training. So it's always a good mixture of both, but a lot of good conversations, and have enjoyed the conference so far. Other questions?
If a company is interested in outsourcing some of their training needs so that maybe they have some training people have retired or the company's grown, and should they hire a trainer or not? It's one of those things where they're in that niche of how do they handle the training material and all of that. Is that something Global Training Center can help and provide training to within a company?
Oh yeah, definitely. We were always looking to partner with companies, and especially too, we do private training. So if we need to go in there and whether it be a day, a couple days, we can create an agenda specifically for what they're looking for, and so that way we can continually provide training for them. So,
excellent. Well, as far as the folks that have come through, have you had any strange questions so far, Carla?
Not so far. Everyone seems to be enjoying the conference, having good questions, and happy to help.
Yeah. Excellent. Well, this is a good group to be around. Well, with that, thanks for letting us come by and talk with you. And with Global Training Center, folks, obviously that is a major sponsor of our Simply Trade podcast. It's a good sponsor here for GTEC. And with that, check them out. For now, you have a great day. Introduce yourselves and what company and where you're all from.
So I'm Stella Wolf, and I'm representing Caterpillar today.
All right. From where?
From Peoria, Illinois.
Yeah, I'm Kenya Glenn, and I represent Mallory Alexander, and our home office is in Memphis, Tennessee, and that's where I work out of that office.
Well, Memphis is the center of the universe. That's where I'm. So, what do you think so far of the conference?
I think it's great. I love meeting all the people that we've seen maybe in years past and some new ones too. The speakers are phenomenal. It's always something good to, learn and take back to the rest of our team. So it's really good.
And what session were you in the first go-round here?
It was the bonds session. I don't know the specific name. I'm sorry, but it was a lot of good information about especially, it didn't necessarily pertain to the session, but the cyber security insurance on that. I think it's amazing because there is a rise on cyber attacks. And so we need to be able to access that information in case our company does become under a cyber attack. So I thought that was really good.
Yes, hi, I'm Mercy Yalmorton. I'm from Flexport in San Francisco.
Oh, fantastic. And yourself?
Yes, I'm Isafina Norwell. I'm from NOSA Logistics in Illinois, Vincentville.
And did you sit in on any sessions this morning?
Yes, I sat in the forced labor and data tool session.
With Anna and Amy.
That's correct. It was great.
How about yourself?
Yes, I did the same. I was also in the same conference this morning as well.
So what, any takeaways from that session?
Well, I'm basically learning a lot about forced labor in areas that is really, there's high, areas where it is. So it's really going to make me more so investigate and look more into it and seeing where it is so I can also, educate my importers that's not aware of it, just so they would know how to prepare and what the risks are and, how to prepare for themselves to protect themselves. So it's going to really lead me to a lot of tools and, resources where to go to find it and to support my importers.
He's definitely the tallest guy around, with Sir Lenny Feldman.
Good to see y'all. How you doing out there in trade land?
And one of the things that's great is also Megan Montgomery.
How come you didn't call me the tallest guy around?
You're the sweetest around. How's that?
Thank you. Thank you. Welcome. Hi, everyone. We wish you were here.
I understand we have a 10-year reunion next year for GTEC, so that's going to be in Chicago. What's your advice for folks in the trade land?
What's the advice? I would say keep your eye on the ball because it's bouncing all over the place. Keep your eye on the legislation that might be coming out. Keep your eye on de minimis. We may see regs on that some point this year before we see legislation, but it could flip the other way around. And keep your eyes and ears open for green trade. What does that mean for your company? Is it going to help? Is it going to hinder? We need to know your thoughts about that because there's a lot of new initiatives out there, and we got to jump on that train before it leaves the station.
Hi, I'm Nicole Bivens-Cullinson. I'm with Sandler, Travis, and Rosenberg, and I live in Washington, D.C.
Oh my gosh! So you get the to work with Lenny, don't you?
Oh, yes. I mean, Lenny's the man.
Yeah. Just get to, as everybody knows him, he's a good man. So, what do you think of as far as the conference so far?
I think it's been really educational. This is my first time, so I'm very happy to be here, and I think it's really worth it. I think folks should come here if they want to learn about a lot of things that they think they know about, but they probably don't know what they think they know.
Well, and it's one of those things that is like with the continuing education and all that that's coming up, this is going to be a vital a conference to continue on and at least pick out what you don't know, and it's like I got to become more of an expert on it, right?
Oh, absolutely. And I think, everyone does need continuing education, right? It's going to be required for customs brokers soon, but also everyone needs to learn every day. So if you need to learn, get out here to the next one.
Why don't you introduce yourself? This is somebody who's an attendee here. So is this your first time to GTEC?
Yeah, so my name is Victoria Nichols. I'm out of Laredo. I'm a broker as well as an attorney. This is my first time to GTEC, but I'm also the first timers committee chair for NCB FAA.
Oh, well, there you go. I love it. So as far as in the industry, so far, have you been to several of the conferences here?
Yeah, so I went to the NCB FAA annual conference as well as GAC, the Government Affairs Conference in Washington, D.C., and then now GTEC.
All right, and now with the GTEC, what about the sessions you've been in? Have you been to any that have been like you've taken away a good nugget of knowledge?
Oh, definitely. So what I heard about GTEC is that it's really good day-to-day operations knowledge, and they did not disappoint. I've been to a really good one about drawback, protest, things like that, and all the PowerPoints I'm excited to get because I know I'm going to use them in my day-to-day practice.
You just picked up on something. It is day-to-day information that you can basically use in your operations and your transactions, right?
Exactly, and I think I'm really excited to bring it back to my office, my staff, and I think it'll all be really helpful.
And we're standing here with one of the founding members, I guess, if you call it, of like GTEC.
Yeah, sounds like that, right?
Yeah. Why don't you introduce yourself and tell them what's going on here?
So my name's Kiko Zuniga. Of course, I should say Federico, or my mom from heaven is going to strike me down. But everybody knows me as Kiko. I've been involved with the Educational Institute since the inception, 15 years ago. Started GTEC 9 years ago, and we're really excited about the event that we're at right now, of course. And then next year, we'll be celebrating 10 years of GTEC, and going to be in Chicago, and we're looking forward to having a whole bunch of people there to celebrate 10 years.
Fantastic. Again, travel budget-wise, you need to make your plans now and all of that. So talk a little bit about the issue of CES credits and all that. That has been something with continuing education has been discussed for probably a decade here or so.
Yeah, so continuing education, as a licensed customs broker myself, I never understood why there wasn't a requirement for continuing education. Again, we started the Educational Institute 15 years ago, and the main reason for it was we wanted to bring more professionalism to the industry and more recognition of what we do. We've been pushing customs for the last 15 years to adopt this rule. This year, about a month ago, it was adopted. So now moving forward, they're finalizing some of the rules, but moving forward as a customs broker, we're going to have to do continuing education. What does that do for us? It validates our purpose in the transaction. It validates our professionalism. It just brings a whole lot more credibility to what it is that we do.
Other things are like companies like Global Training Center, I know has some that works with the Brokers Association and whatnot, so gaining proficiency in certain areas so that, again, that professionalism and that, you don't want to be the dullest, tool in the shed. You want to be that sharpest tool in the shed, right?
And, our organizations like Global Training, there's several people, but you guys are providing that education that's required in our industry to keep up to date with the changes, constantly changing. Every trade agreement, every administration comes out with new rules. We got to stay on top of it.
Appreciate it. Thank you. And when is the conference next year? A year from now. So
a year from now, we'll see you there. We won't have our boots on, but it'll still be a lot of fun.
I'll still have my boots.
I know you will.
Folks, be there or be square, as they would say, and you don't want to miss out. Make your plans to attend GTEC.
Thank you.
you have seen Joe on one of our podcasts and talked before on a different conference, obviously. Joe, why don't you introduce yourself and talk about your company real quick?
Hi, I'm Joe Morales. I'm CTO of QuickCode.ai, and we make HS classification software, AI-powered, brand new in the market. We got a really great product. Does a really good job classifying. It uses the latest AI, the large language models like ChatGPT. We also are into explainable AI. We have a new feature where we kind of explain why did the software suggest this particular code or this particular path in the HS classification tree. So I hope you'll come to QuickCode.ai and give us a try. We're having a great conference. A lot of people coming by, a lot of interest, getting a lot of traction. So yeah, please come to QuickCode.ai and try out our software.
And you've been here. Is this your first time at this conference?
First time, yeah.
All right. And of the people coming through and all that, I'm sure there's been a lot of demos that you where people sat down and all. What have you been seeing? What has it been good for them?
Well, I think I've kind of heard it before, but it's really fun to see in person. People just get excited about using our software. So it's been fun to see that. I'm a developer, so nice to see that everything's working as it should. The conference has been really cool. Compared to other conferences I've been to, this feels a lot more intimate. People are making more connections and relationships. You can see a lot of old friends kind of meeting. So really cool community, and it's pretty exciting to be joining it, and hopefully you're here to stay.
All right. And why don't you tell folks your name and where you are from right now?
Yeah, Ross Nordstrom, one of the developers at QuickCode, and I'm from Colorado Springs.
There you go.
Yeah, so been great.
We appreciate your time, and hopefully this will be a company to watch and at least investigate. As you said, say one more time as far as your website.
QuickCode.ai.
All right. Folks, have a good one. And we're talking to the Deep Cognition folks. So this is an interesting name. So looking at it, obviously you're touting artificial intelligence. So that's more than what I've got. So here we go. Why don't you introduce yourself and talk about your company?
Hey everybody, my name is John Pennypacker. I'm the VP of Sales and Marketing for Deep Cognition. This is
Hunter Lees, Senior Development Manager.
And Caleb Stowe, Account Executive.
And Deep Cognition, as you can probably guess, artificial intelligence. So we use deep learning software, which that just means that we iteratively continue to learn as we do things on how to automate complex data entry. And so for customs clearance, that looks like us helping to automate commercial invoices, packing lists, bills of lading, the things that take a long time that you can get a computer to do, but it feels really hard because there's so much complexity around making sure that the template's right for many people or making sure that it's going into the EDI. We take all that away by interacting with the world through images, and so we use PDFs, Excel templates, whatever it is, to pipe that into the ABI filing software and make it as seamless as possible.
Okay, so with what you're talking about there is being able to automate, from the sound of it, or automate portions of generating shipping paperwork. Am I hearing that right?
Exactly. So whenever the shipment comes across a border, they have to take these different documents and take the information off of those documents, which is typically a manual process, unless there's something built on top of it, and then submit that to an ABI filing software, which ultimately gets transmitted into customs.
Okay. Are you transmitting that same files to the carriers?
So the carriers handled by companies like Acart, OneView, NetCHB, CargoWise. Mm-hmm. So what we do is we interact with those systems in a very specific use case of making sure that the data entry is not done by someone on the team where they can make errors, it's costly, it's time intensive. We make that as seamless as possible, 90 to 95% time and cost savings.
Okay. So if I want to know more about this, what's your website?
Deepcognition.ai. That's where to find us.
There we go. So we have had Todd Smith on here from KYG. Hey guys. Know Your Goods, and his daughter Sabrina. Okay. And this is somebody that we know is Leslie August. So with this, Todd, let me ask you, it's like for the obviously you've made a choice to come here.
Yeah.
So what do you think as far as the GTEC, and why GTEC for y'all?
I think it's great. I think it's really cool. We sent out an email to everybody, and we said, if you really want to see some cool tech, come to GTEC. All right, so
look at the marketing minds coming here.
Just because of that, I had to be here, right?
No, there you go.
No, but this has been a great show. It's been a great show, and I look forward to coming back. You look at the attendees, about a third of them are 3PLs, a third of them are brokers, and a third of them are the shippers and the importers. So it's a really good mix. And there's people interested in why we're here, of course, and I love that. And there's a lot of yearning for learning and all the new regulations that are coming down the pike, not only in the U.S., but in Canada and Mexico. So it's just a well-rounded event, not catering to any one particular very narrow silo. It's a nice broad group, and everybody is learning from each other. So it's been great.
With that, let me ask you a question. Leslie, some of the questions that people have been coming up, obviously, artificial intelligence is a new deal, and your booth here has AI all over it. So as far as that, what are some of the things people are asking?
Well, people are asking, first of all, a lot of them just are trying to wrap their head around what should I be looking at in technology and new technology, and how are we as a company going to figure out what the next step forward is. So there's a lot of people who they understand in general what AI does, they know it in relationship to classification perhaps, but they just really don't know, like, what are the next steps I need to take, and what do all these different providers offer? So those are the kind of questions we're getting, and we're just spending time talking to them. And we're not exclusively AI, so our platform actually does a whole lot of other things, but the people here are interested in technology and going the next step, especially the smaller broker forwarders that need to be in the loop on this. Otherwise, they're going to be behind in no time.
Well, and the information is coming from so many different sources that it's just unreal, and trying to manage all of that with the different platforms and all. So what do you think is going to be the trend as far as AI and what you're seeing in the next, let's say, 2 years?
Well, there was a speaker at the AAEI in DC. He was a futurist. And the way he described AI today is it's like getting a new puppy. And you're teaching the puppy where to go and where not to go. And in the beginning, you don't trust the puppy, right? So you stay really close and make sure puppy's going in the right place. So that's kind of where we are with AI. I mean, you watch it, you train it, but you have to watch over it and make sure that it's doing the right thing. And then after a while, once you get used and know that the puppy's starting to grow up and knows it's going to do the right thing, you can start to back off and focus on other things. And I think that's where we'll be in a couple of years.
That's excellent. All right, Sabrina, you've been quiet over here, and it's like, maybe he won't get to me. So I'll hunt you down. No. With all of this that you've seen, this is your first time to GTEC, right? All right. So with that, what do you think thus far of just the people that are coming and attending here?
This guy aside.
Yeah, I'm a bubble off center.
Well, I think the trade community and all the trade nerds, as you call yourselves, which I hope to be one too. I think it is a community, and everyone really knows each other and welcomes new people in, and just very knowledgeable people. So, yeah, it's been awesome so far.
This has been a good conference so far that we've seen a lot of good socialization and, if you will, networking. With that, I want to stop here for a minute and talk to some folks here at BCS and at their for recruiting firms. So why don't you introduce yourself and about your company. Talk about your company, if I can say that. I swear, I am like a bubble off center this morning. How you doing?
Good. My name is Brian Bartolotta. I'm with BCS Placement. We do consulting and recruiting for the freight forwarding industry. It's been a great conference. It's always good with networking, finding out what's going on in the industry in terms of compliance, customs, what our customers are doing, and get a pulse on the industry, and just sort of get geared for the second half of the year.
Fantastic. All right, you're talking about consulting. What kind of consulting do y'all do?
We're mostly recruiting, but we do advise companies on basically their people, their labor costs, how to ramp up for peak season, what to plan for in the coming years in terms of their sales force and their management as well.
So managing your workforce from a standpoint of throughout the year and some HR related type things is what it sounds like.
Yeah. Throughout the year, and just really controlling your costs, when to grow, when to add sales, just helping with the labor count.
Fantastic. All right. And why don't you introduce yourself as well?
Sure.
Gina Novotny, BCS Placement. Work for this guy over here. I would say a tidbit about working in the industry. When you're putting your resume together, if you're open to new opportunities, it is beneficial to work with a recruiter, because if not, your resume could just get lost in a portal with 1,000 other resumes. And if they're using algorithms, you might just get booted for some unknown reason. Whereas if you work with a recruiter, we will follow up with the hiring managers to make sure that your resume is getting looked at.
All right, folks, we're still at GTEC, and we're going around and talking, and we got some great folks here from Roanoke here. So here's the one thing, what does Roanoke do? I mean, my goodness.
Well, hi, this is Colleen from Roanoke. This is Andrew, my colleague. He's out of our Houston office. Roanoke was started in 1935 in downtown Chicago, specifically to provide customs bonds to customs brokers to sell to their importer clients. Over the years, we evolved and started writing cargo insurance and other liability types of insurance for the international trade and transportation industries. And I will tell you, bonds are not boring. You got anything to add, Andrew?
Yep. From the insurance side, we don't just do insurance. We are your risk partner, so we manage, help manage all aspects of risk in your business.
Mm-hmm. If I'm just a small importer or company or whatever, should I come directly to you or go through my broker with y'all?
The majority of our business is through customs brokers because they're our partners. They do all your entry transactions. They have all that information. Your customs broker is your best source of information for the total duties, taxes, and fees they pay. We do get data from customs, but it's not as granular as what the brokers have in their system. So definitely a customs broker is the way to go.
All right. Has GTEC been a good conference so far for y'all?
Oh, yeah, of course. It's always great to see clients that are here and get to spread our risk message around to those who may not hear it all the time.
Yeah. Well,
it's a learning experience, right?
Oh, yeah. Well, and I've not heard any negative so far. It's been a really good conference so far for the attendees. So if anybody is interested in checking out a little bit more of your services and all that, how should they reach out to y'all?
They can go to our website is roanokegroup.com, ROANOKE group.com.
And now we're about to talk to somebody. It's a little different as far as the exhibitors here, as far as being a service provider. They would be a service provider, but in a different niche. And this is somebody that has also been in the industry for a long time. But I want to let them introduce themselves and talk about their company. So why don't you tell everybody who you are and what you're doing?
Sure. So I'm Lisa Gelsomino, and many may recognize that name from the industry. I used to be with Avalon for 30 years in the insurance side, and recently retired to help my husband with his promotional services company, and we're having a blast spending time together and hanging out at trade shows like GTEC and catching up with old friends like Andy and Lalo. So, so thank you for testing me out.
I'm Mike Hennessy. I founded Integrity Sourcing about 20 years ago, actually exactly 20 years ago. We're celebrating our 20th anniversary, and it's a whole new market for us coming with the freight forwarders and insurance brokers and everybody else, so it's been fun.
If somebody's interested in what y'all are doing, how can they reach out or find you?
Sure. So everybody loves going to our website. It's easy to remember, integrityswag.com. It's got a lot more than just swag. We do represent a lot of brand names and quality items. And what's been great is we've been able to develop programs with the NCBFA that gives a member-to-member discount to all members, 10% off.
One of the things that is in looking at it, if they're looking at trying to go to a conference and all that, would you be able to help somebody say, this is really the type of things you need to look for based on the audience, or what is it? How can you help them?
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah. So what I've been able to do, because I know the industry so well, and I know the shows that they're attending, and I know the market they're in, yes, we are actually helping them design the booth itself. We help them with their logo. Sometimes needs revamping. We've done that as well. And so I think what people find is we're kind of one-stop source. They can come to us and have a person to deal with instead of ordering online, and they're not surprised when their product arrives because we help them design it. We really take them through the process and make sure their logo and brand is front and center. That's really important to us. And everybody knows I've always loved marketing, and I really love companies and helping them brand their business, grow their business, do great things for employees, do great things for clients, and I think that's why people come to us because we provide those great ideas.
Larry, talk to folks about you're a sponsor here, obviously, at GTEC and all that. So here with Larry Hansen.
Well, GTEC is a great conference. It really is. The brokers always have good training programs and everything else here. But GTEC in particular is a little bit smaller than the national conference and really good programming, really good speakers here. So if you have not been at GTEC yet, you've missed a really good opportunity here. The next one will be in Chicago at the Intercontinental Hotel, so we'll see you there.
One of the things is that it's going to be a year from now, so it'll be at the end of July. Plan out your travel budgets and all of that. Larry, what type of law are you practicing, and what's your main expertise, I guess?
We do import-export regulatory work. I've been doing this about 36 years, maybe another year or two more to go here. But import-export regulatory work, mostly customs and U.S. federal agencies affecting imports and exports.
Excellent, excellent. So if somebody wanted to look you up, find you, or whatever what's your website?
Pretty easy to Google us. You'll find it pretty quickly. The website is www.lwhansenassociates.com.
With this, we got the folks from Avalon. So I want to say, first off, that Avalon is a major sponsor here at GTEC and hosted the party last night. We'll get to that in just a second. So why don't you introduce yourself first?
I'm Jackie Del Rey. I'm the Corporate and Industry Event Manager at Avalon.
And where are you located?
I am at our home office in Elk Grove Village, Illinois.
Ah, there we go. And how about yourself?
Hi, I'm Zulika Medina, and I'm the Marketing Content Manager, and I'm also from our corporate office in Elk Grove, Illinois.
There we go. With that, the GTEC conference itself has been, it seems to be a very positive conference. People have enjoyed it. It's been somewhat intimate, meaning that it's small in numbers as far as there's probably about 300 here, but it's like, man, the interaction has been great. Has it not been for you?
It's been great for us. Avalon's been really proud to support this conference since it began almost 10 years ago, and we've been able to watch it grow over the years from 3 small tables of exhibitors to what you see today, which I think is nearly 20, and large setups and a lot of excitement. And what's really exciting about this conference is we have our first timer who's a scholarship winner that Avalon sponsored, Taylor, and she's here just as somebody new in the industry, and she's so excited, and she said it's been such a great experience and she's learning so much, and it's reinvigorated her excitement for this industry. But then you also have people who've been in the industry 30, 40 years and are coming here and they know so much, but they're still learning something new. And there's really something to be said for that when it spans all those years and experience levels.
Well, there's an adage there, if you stop learning, you start dying. So it's like...
fair enough.
Yeah. So how about yourself with Avalon here? What is your main claim to fame, I guess?
Well, I've been with Avalon for over 18 years now. I was actually at the first GTEC, so it's been great for me to see how it has evolved. I actually started in our bond claims department, was able to work my way up, and now I'm in marketing, so I get to help Jackie with some of the, the conferences and the network reception that we put on last night. But it's really also about the education, and so one of Avalon's core values is, personal growth and knowledge, and that's something why we come to these conferences. GTEC is great. I'm putting on great panels, very informational, and to give somebody like our scholarship winner an opportunity to come and get this experience.
Excellent. Well, with this, obviously the GTEC will be 10 years old next year, and it will basically be in y'all's backyard. So you planning on, I assume, being there as well, right?
We will definitely be there. We're excited. It's in our backyard in Chicago, which is the greatest city in the world.
I will say that last night's reception was a big hit for everybody. Y'all were the major sponsors of that. And can you talk about that? I bet the planning and everything that came together on that was kind of tough, wasn't it?
We love a good theme and we love a good party. We're definitely believers of working very hard, but also playing hard on occasion. And it was nice to see everybody out there and trying their hand at line dancing, even though it was 100 degrees at 9 o'clock at night. They were literally burning rubber out there, but we really appreciated that everybody took it in stride and had a good time. And, this is personally what I do for a living. So I'm very glad that everybody had such a good experience. And now we'll try and top it for next year.
Well, there's definitely a lot of smiles, a lot of good things, and whatnot. Well, with that, we appreciate it. And again, I know that the GTEC folks appreciate your sponsorship. With that, folks, yeah, if you're not at GTEC next year, you're missing out. It's at the end of July, and it'll be in Chicago. So with that, you have a good day. Hey, folks, we're in Oklahoma City with GTEC, and we are looking forward to wrapping some things up here and looking forward to next year. But so far, there's been some great conversations. You've been seeing some of the posts that we've been seeing on LinkedIn, or we've been sending on LinkedIn with that. So, Lala, what do you think so far what we've got going here?
We've got some really good stuff going on, and we just wanted to bring to everybody's attention whoever's not here and they're watching this, it's this FOMO thing, right? Fear of missing out.
Yeah, there you go.
So we want to give you a fair warning, 12 months warning, because we want to bring in Cynthia here. We want to bring in Cynthia and have her talk about the 10th anniversary, right, Cynthia? Let's come on in.
Hi. Thank you for having me. So next year is going to be a momentous year for GTEC. It's our 10th anniversary. Can you believe that? 10 years.
10 years.
And so we're looking forward to an outstanding celebration of continuing education and the importance of what that does for our industry.
Well, one thing is that continuous education has been talked about for many, many, many years. When you were with Customs, I know I went through and brokers were like for it, for against it. Oh, yeah, here we go again and all that. It has finally come out with true regulations that are going to be starting, and GTEC is playing a key role with that. Would you not agree with that?
Absolutely, absolutely. And we are so focused on content. And so we run over the course of 2 days 20 90-minute sessions, action-packed content. And so we think it's a good investment of your funds that you have available, companies, for continuing education for your employees. And we think it's a good way to, again, invest in your employees and demonstrate to them that they understand, that you understand how important they are to your operations.
One of the things, folks, that you need to look at, a takeaway here, is you need to plan for attending GTEC and sending some of your employees or some of your training people to GTEC so that you can follow up with your own training programs. But with that, when's the next program and where's it going to be?
So GTEC, our 10th anniversary, we're going to be in Chicago at the Intercontinental Magnificent Mile on Michigan Avenue.
Nice.
And it's going to be July the 28th through the 30th, the last weekend in July. And we're looking forward to you being there. So plan your training dollars now.
And I guess the advantage of that is also by this time next year, brokers will need to start fulfilling their education points, et cetera. And why not rack them up there, right?
That's right, Lalo. So Customs passed the final rule on continuing education for licensed customs brokers. And they're looking at 36 credits over the triennial period, 3-year period, averages out to 12 per year. GTEC, you can get 15 credits
there you go.
at one time and have a great time while you're there.
Right.
Wonderful. All right, folks, again, GTEC is coming up, the 10-year anniversary. And again, what are the dates?
July the 28th through the 30th in the Windy City of Chicago at the Intercontinental Magnificent Mile on Michigan Avenue.
Awesome.
Look for it. Plan your budgets. Your takeaway is you need to plan it and put it in your calendar and look to see what you can do to register and get your people there. Okay, folks, one of the things with the clips that you just heard, first off, again, it was a very good conference, as you could pick up on. People were learning. They were getting a lot out of this. Cynthia had a great message. And, hey, next year, you need to plan on attending the GTEC conference. With that said, why GTEC? The other scenarios, remember, Customs has finally come out, especially if you're a service provider, if you're a licensed broker working for an importer or exporter, if you are looking at trying to get into the industry, they have come out with their CES, the continuing education credits. And with that, you need to have, I believe it's 36 in a 3-year period. Obviously, it comes out to what 12 in a
12 in a year.
A year. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So 12 credits in a year. You need to plan on your training. Don't just sit there and go, oh, at the end of the year, I need to do something. Take the time, strategically plan it. You can hear those folks that have attended this conference. It's a good one to attend, but also look at Global Training Center. That's one of the things that I can tell you that is well worth it. It's cost effective in your training of your staff, of yourself, and take a look at that. That you'll get CES credits and go from there. The other is, if you're looking for some other things, is that, we can maybe help out in saying, here's the training programs that, that Lalo and his team would be able to offer for you that would be worthwhile.
Well, Andy, I was going to say also, the other thing that I found that was very interesting in the conference, and now that we're wrapping up all the conversations we had, is you don't hear that on the clips. I mean, obviously, we're not pushing everything that we recorded, but off microphone or even leading up to or ending, a lot of the attendees were asking or concerned, or I don't know what the term you might want to use, that sometimes it's hard for them to approach their C-suite, or not hard, but challenging to see how they can justify training like GTEC, like Global Training Center, or any other conference or whatever, only because they may not see it as a valuable resource for them, or not valuable, I should say. Maybe they don't see it as something that they need to do. Like, you can go off, and I used to have a boss literally that was the CEO of a company that I worked for, that literally said, you are the expert, go figure it out on your own. Like, would never pay for training for us. It was, I don't understand that. But anyway, for those, I like what they asked you, Andy. They would ask you, what should we do? And little known fact from everybody that's listening, Andy actually does work like that, and will reach out. You know how well he talks to executives, and he was an executive himself, of course. He was in the C-suite, and he knows how to talk to them. And, right there on the spot, they were asking you, can you help me with that?
Oh, definitely. And that's one of those things where, folks, I always challenge the folks in the industry as well as in the C-suite or executive management, is that we need to translate this complex into more simple terms. Not that the executives are not getting it, but they don't deal with the complex import-export terminology all the time. So you got to translate that so it's common ground. And that's one of the, I guess, fortes that I seem to have and am able to help companies with and do. So, I can tell you this, I am all for not spending and wasting your money needlessly. And on the flip side of it is how to stretch a dollar. So when it comes to these CES credits, when it comes to what you're looking at, if you're an executive, reach out, and if you've got some questions on, and we can come back with, here's what we would recommend, because you don't have to try and do a shotgun approach and get everything. It's like, what is it that your company needs or your staff needs?
All righty. Well, cool. I just want to make sure that we said that, only because, I mean, that was one of the recurring themes that we saw, and we want to bring some of that information to those that are listening in that may be going through that same situation. So, but anyway, well, thank you all. I mean, this was a good summary of the conference. Of course, if you want to see more, like a little clips of like the land dancing, et cetera, look for us on YouTube here pretty soon. We did capture a lot of footage, like I said, and hopefully you will enjoy that.
All right. Folks, have a great day. I hope this has been good for you. And again, thank you for your listenership. It's been great.
Yes. Thank you. Mm-hmm.
Thank you very much for joining us. Simply Trade is brought to you by the generous contributions of Global Training Center. You can follow the show and GTC on LinkedIn or Twitter and other social networks. Make sure you check out the show notes in the description for a full rundown of today's show with all the important links. Also, make sure that you share this with a friend and subscribe on your favorite streaming platform. We really like hearing from you. If you enjoyed the show, make sure to rate and review wherever you listen to this podcast. If you or someone you know would like to be a guest on the show, or would like to sponsor Simply Trade, or suggest any topic you would like for us to discuss, please contact us via email at simplytrade@globaltrainingcenter.com. simplytradecenter.com, or you can DM us on Twitter at simplytradepod. Thank you again for the privilege of your time. Happy trading. Simply Trade is not a law firm or an advisor. The topics and discussions conducted by Simply Trade hosts and guests should not be considered and is not intended to substitute legal advice. You should seek appropriate counsel for your own situations. These conversations and information are directed towards listeners in the United States for informational, educational, and entertainment purposes only and should not be substituted for legal advice. No listener or viewer of this podcast should act or refrain from acting on the basis of information on this podcast without first seeking legal advice from counsel. Information on this podcast may not be up to date depending on the time of publishing and the time of viewership. The content of this posting is provided as is. No representations are made that the content is error-free. The views expressed in or through this podcast are those of the individual speakers, not those of their respective employers or Global Training Center as a whole. All liability with respect to actions taken or not taken based on the contents of this podcast are hereby expressly disclaimed.